Hello and welcome everybody to this episode of the Arete Podcast. As always, I'm your host Jake, and I'm joined by Reid and Matt, the hosts of the newest edition of the Arete Media Podcast Pantheon, the hosts of The High Ground. Three guesses what they cover on their podcast primarily. I know you guys do a lot of different fandoms. We met at Shelbyville Fandom Con. We were in the booths next to each other, all of us simultaneously marveling over, and because my memory always fails me when I'm doing a podcast, the gentleman that provided the model work for Johnny Cage, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and
Daniel and Carlos Pesina,
Pancina,
yes.
the Pacina brothers, yes, who we all know and love. I personally thank them for our childhood. But welcome, gentlemen. And to start us off, so why is The Last Jedi the greatest Star Wars film ever made?
Matt, go ahead. I'll jump in a minute. Feel free.
Oh man, I'm not sure I can go first on that one.
I don't think
All right,
anyone can.
I'll tell you what. I'll do my best to play
There's a
devil's
lot to
advocate.
take in there.
that there is.
I'll tell you what. I'll do my best. I'll play devil's advocate for 5 whole minutes, but then I don't think my conscience can go beyond that. All right, let's see. Well, first and foremost, The Last Jedi really got to see the reintroducing of Luke Skywalker to the Star Wars saga. You had the original movies, and then they brought back The Force Awakens to where they were talking about him half the movie, and then for the last 10 to 15 seconds, you kind of got a quick glimpse of him and just kind of left the entire audience on a cliffhanger. And so, well, first and foremost, the movie really got to satisfy that craving people had at the end of said movie. For better or for worse. Also, you got to see Luke really dive into his childhood, by going back to his dietary beverage of choice. Didn't quite have the blue milk from Tatooine, but whatever I forget what color it is. Being colorblind has that drawback.
It was pigmented.
The pigmented milk of whatever the hell planet they were on. And I mean, we got to see a bunch of new characters introduced to really the main storyline that, they were just so good that Disney decided we're going to spend all this time building them up and then never talk about them again throughout any of the sagas, the trilogies, even the follow-up movie. We're just going to throw them right out the windows because they were so good. We don't want to mess them up. How's that?
I don't think a better case has been made other than Rian Johnson being like, listen, you're all stupid. No, the Luke Skywalker problems aside, just like real talk, I hate that movie. It's the worst Star Wars movie ever made. I'm including the holiday special, which wasn't really a movie, but it's the worst. Putting the Luke Skywalker stuff aside, was the 40 some odd minute, what felt like 3 hour diversion to Space Vegas to do a PETA like ad really necessary?
That was kind of weird. It didn't really fit.
And okay, so now they're not the rebellion anymore, but it's the same group of people. So now they have a problem with using animals for transportation. I seem to recall a Tauntaun meeting its untimely end because Han Solo thought, I'm gonna go out here and look for Luke, and only the Tauntaun died. I'm just putting that out there.
Well, I mean, out of necessity, sure, but I'll tell you what, hang on, let me take half a step back just because I know I'm going to forget it in 10 minutes. I'll give this to the Star Wars Holiday Special. Yes, it can be, especially looking through the modern lens, it can be laughed at, it can be, it be written off as satire, but here's the thing. I feel like at the time it was made, it was the first time they really made the effort in some form or fashion to try to tell the in-between story, to
Mm-hmm.
try to give the audience a little bit more than just waiting, X amount of years or months for the next large installment, theatrical release. And, if nothing else, and I mean, if you look back, I think what was George Lucas always talks about the merchandising rights, making toys, that sort of stuff, just the sheer amount of money that's generated. And if nothing else, maybe it was, partially to kind of give them that in-between story, but also partially to, sell more toys or to try to expand upon, the lore. And then, essentially from that point on, you not only have subsequent movies, and eventually TV shows, but then you also start seeing the writings of, the Star Wars, I guess, well, what's it called now? The Star Wars Legends, the original
Legends,
ones. We
yeah,
had,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, you had Mara Jade, the different storyline. And, where really that just took off and telling all these different stories that if you just watch the movies, you would have never heard of.
I mean, that's a fair point, and funny. We joke all the time on our various podcasts, but I'm proud to say that we all we have a certain high degree of media literacy. So it's like we can give credit where credit's due. Like I can not like a movie and still appreciate what it was trying to do or what it did, and I think that's a very
Sure.
valid point you raise. Because another thing I always say is listen, especially we touch on this on the Star Trek podcast all the time. You have to remember when this thing, whatever you're talking about, was made. The reason I'm so hard on The Last Jedi is because it's new.
Oh, yeah.
You can't, it's contemporary. You can't say, well, it was the 80s, like you can with, Rambo. It was the 80s. And it's fun. The Last Jedi is just bad.
Well, and I think, and Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we've actually talked about the point where it seemed like they were trying to just remake Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi into one single movie. I mean, between the not the speeder things at the end, but those little, rundown like speeder looking things they do to try to attack the AT-ATs at the end. You
Yeah.
have, them fighting in the throne room and killing off what was supposed to be the main villain of the whole thing, but you're going to kill him
Yeah.
off in movie two. There's
Yeah,
just so much.
they did a lot of like mirroring of the original trilogy, I thought, just like with Force Awakens, just you start on a desert planet with a unknown character that doesn't know the Force and just kind of I mean if you follow both sets of trilogies, they kind of follow the same storyline. So I just thought it was completely lazy writing by Disney. They're trying to go back to the well when they really didn't have any reason to. And it just didn't work. None of it worked. All three movies,
Yeah. Well,
trash.
what kills me about going back to the well is they already had a well full
Yeah,
of stories that people wanted to see on the big
yeah.
screen. And it's funny because
100%.
you can in the hands of a good competent writer or group of writers, you can I don't want to say remake, but you can tell the same story in a different way because at the end of the day, I mean Star Wars is telling an old story in a
Mhm.
different way. I mean it's the hero's
Sure.
journey. And George
Yeah.
Lucas is not I mean he's very open about this. It's a
Hmm.
classic story full of not cliche but full of classic archetypes but it's
Mhm.
reassembled in a different way. It's kind of like soup is soup, but this is a new soup that's really good.
Mhm. Yeah, for
Fair.
sure.
That sort of deal. So now that we had that fun bit aside, first of all, I want to welcome you guys to the
Mhm.
Arete Podcast Pantheon. Very happy to have
Happy to
you.
be here.
I've been looking for a Star Wars, but I'm kind of surprised we haven't had a Star Wars podcast. And I know you guys aren't only Star Wars, but
Sure.
I mean, with a name like The High Ground, which I
I
love,
mean,
by
yeah,
the
it's
way, because I knew instantly what I was looking at.
did didn't we Matt, maybe remember slightly better than I can. How long did we take just going back and forth on names? I feel like it was like several weeks, if not a month or two, where it's I mean, there wasn't like it wasn't straight. We always came back and forth to it, but like how long did it take us to really land on that one?
I would say probably a solid month of just kind of just casual back and forth. And I think there was one night where we just started spitballing
Hmm.
uh, a whole bunch of different names, like just tons. And then High Ground popped up. We both just kind of stopped and paused for a second and was like,
That's it.
you know what? That's it right there.
Well, I think it was also like flexible enough to where, yes, it's a little on the nose as far as Star Wars goes, but then, and we need to do a better job of this in the future of like just, I think maybe honing the brand a little bit. But, we had little bits and pieces. We're like, okay, we had this discussion based on, one side versus the other, who has the high ground, a little something like that towards, okay, if we're going back and forth debating two sides and like, okay, at the end of it all, like who might have the advantage, who has the kind of better spot in the argument. And I feel like that can be expanded to pretty much, all the different topics we cover, everything from whether it be fantasy, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, but, then also covering, various, movies. I mean, cover everything from, Adam Sandler's movies to, it's a bit all over the place. I mean, it might need a little bit of refinement, but I feel like in a way that's it's organic in the sense of it's discussions that we've had 1,000 times, and our interests aren't that are they're pretty broad. It's really just a mood thing. Okay, what are we in the mood to talk about today, or what any more than I got a night to watch TV or a movie. What do I feel like today? And that's
Yeah.
gonna change from day to day, week to week.
Yeah, like for instance, we're gonna have to bring up Hawk at some point whenever you finish it.
I think I'm on 4 episodes so far. I'm slowly working on it.
Oh, yeah, you
It's
gotta
a
get
tough
through it.
watch.
It's not that tough. It's pretty good.
It's I don't know. I feel like I liked Owen Wilson's or not Owen Wilson, excuse me.
Luke
Yeah, Owen
Wilson.
Wilson. Yeah, that one. I think I've liked that one a little bit better, but I don't know.
Oh,
I'm
you're
still
talking
trying to
about
give Hawk
Sticks.
stick. Yeah,
Yeah, that's Owen Wilson.
yeah, yeah.
Luke
For some
Wilson's
reason,
in this one, so it's kind of funny.
yeah, that's true. Except they deliberately tried to make him look old, and like
He
they
is
gave him
old.
the silver hair. I know, but it's like they made him look like the remember that movie Caddyshack? They made him look like the judge from Caddyshack, where he's got like the silver hair. He looks like he belongs at a snob country club, and you're trying to take him seriously, but it's like this is Luke Wilson. You remember him from what's the college one? Old School.
Yeah.
Or Kelso's brother, if your memory's that good.
Oh man. Oh, so you guys are that 70s show fans too. Love it.
Yeah, just about
Oh,
everything.
Dude, I just cannot. Okay, you guys might appreciate this before I get into, because I want you guys to be able to talk about yourselves and how this started, but I have to share because my origin story for that 70s show is just stupidly funny. I
oh
resisted
God.
it for years because I was like, who wants to watch a show about a bunch of kids hanging out in the 1970s? That sounds stupid. And this is a recurring theme with many of my most beloved TV shows and movies. You'd think I would learn by now. But so I resisted this show for years, and then it was 2006. And my girlfriend at the time was a massive That 70s Show fan, and I refused to watch it. But her birthday was coming up, so I bought her season one of the series on DVD.
Sure.
Now, my job at the time, I was a commission salesman, which means that if I didn't have customers in, I didn't have to do anything. So I watched a lot of
Hmm.
TV because I worked for a small business and I was very poor at the time. So I'm bored out of my skull. So I just look over and I just so happen to, it's in my car and I'm like, screw it. I'll just watch this, see if it's any good. Like she won't be
Hmm.
mad if I open it up. I watch episode one, first scene. I'm laughing my ass off. So I'm like, screw her, this is mine. I'm
I'll get you
keeping
another one.
it. Exactly. I did. I bought
Well,
her another one.
well, and that's the thing. It's like, and I feel like everybody's got that same kind of. I mean, and I can only speak for me, but I think at least in some percentage, Matt, this is probably you as well. But I mean, it was on TV at a time to where really cable was a thing, but not, it wasn't as, streaming wasn't a thing yet.
No.
Cable was kind of varied in, okay, it was on Fox, it was on, one of the basic channels. And, it just happened to come on. I mean, between shows like that, The Simpsons, it's like, oh, we're home from school, whatever it is at this time of day, or, home on a weekend, what's on? Oh, it's got that 70s show. You got, what I think Futurama was, all those kind of shows that, oh, you watched them because, oh, your parents didn't have cable, you didn't have 1,000 choices, and you fell in love with it, not, partially for that reason, because that's the only thing you had, but I mean, it just, you grew with it. It's, in a way, it almost felt like growing up with the characters.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Yeah.
And I'm also pleased here because I assume we're all around basically the same age. We're all millennials and we're all from, are you guys originally from Indiana or did you move here?
Fort Wayne area, both
Okay.
of
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. So we're all from Indiana. So, and different areas, but I assume culturally somewhat similar because based on what you said, Reed, you didn't grow up with cable. You grew up with
Yeah.
4.5 channels.
I did, and I tell you what, and I think Matt, you had it at times when I didn't, because I remember when like Dragon Ball Z was doing its first run, and I'd always remember like people or kids at school talking about it, either that or maybe like Pokemon, was big at the time, and it's like, and they're always talking about, oh, you see the new Dragon Ball Z, blah blah blah, and I'm like, no,
Yeah, I never,
I
I
got
never watched
Cartoon
it when
Network,
it was
damn
first
it.
coming out.
Oh, Dragon! I've got another really funny Dragon Ball Z story that only millennials will understand and appreciate because honestly, like my nephews, literally, I had to. This was so funny. A couple years ago, my nephews were visiting me. My youngest nephew, who was 9 at the time, he was like, do you have Pokemon Stadium? And I'm like, no, but I rented it a lot. And he just had this look of sheer confusion on his face, and I realized he doesn't know what a video rental store is because he's never seen one. Because this is way past the time
Wow.
Blockbuster and Movie Gallery were all dead. And so I had to explain to a 9-year-old, and as I'm explaining it to him, I realize how ridiculous of a concept this is. I'm like, it's a store you go to where you pay them money, but you don't get to buy the thing, you just get to borrow it.
It's like a non-free library.
Yeah, no, and the funny thing was, he was like, why didn't you just buy it? I'm like, because it's cheaper to rent it. He was like, yeah, but you have to rent it
I
several
was
times.
poor, damn it.
I'm like, you sound like my mother. Stop. Why don't you just buy it? And I'm like, because, dude, video games are expensive, and they're worse now.
They're a lot worse now.
So that
Oh
was
my God.
that was hilarious. And then my other nephews on my wife's side of the family, because I have a fairly extensive DVD collection, which is a combo of not having cable and just being almost 40. So they're like, why do you have so many movies? And I literally said, I was like, because I come from a time before you could stream them on the internet. And they did not understand. Like, they were, I mean, and I get
They're
it.
looking at they're looking at you like you got a bunch of like, scrolls in the back of your, living room, or like, stone tablets with chisels and shit
Well, I
on
mean,
them.
I do have a bookshelf too, which is funny because I have to explain. It's like, this is before the internet. We had to. I told one of my other nephews. I was like, we used to have to write. There was a time where in school we were not allowed to type our papers. We had to submit written papers.
It wasn't even a thing. What
No.
was it? I looked. I found what it was actually called probably about 3 months ago. I don't know where this came up in conversation, but it's before like it, it was almost like it was a keyboard and then a screen that showed you the letters is like that big, and it's like a word processor or something like that, to where it's like, okay, I can't remember what grade it was, but like we'd have to start writing papers on that little thing. But it's like you only saw the one line of
Yeah.
text go
Sounds like a
across the whole
digital
thing.
typewriter, but I don't know that I've never
Pretty
ever
much.
seen one of those. Yeah, but
Hmm.
to bring it back to Dragon Ball Z, so I didn't have cable. My best friend did. So the way I kept up with Dragon Ball Z is they used to release episodes on VHS, and they'd have like 3 or 4 episodes
Yeah.
per VHS step. Because I didn't have cable, I didn't know where the show was, so I
Hmm.
just kept watching, and then I don't remember how it came up, but we realized that the VHS releases were a season ahead of the television show.
Hmm.
So all of a sudden, I was the guy who, like, I had Super Saiyan before it aired on Toonami. I had Super Saiyan several months before it aired on Toonami. And I don't know why it was that way. But yeah, literally, the VHS
Huh.
releases was a season ahead of Toonami. It was wild. I had the Boo
It's like
Saga when they were still watching Cell.
it's like the physical media was released and they were able to dub it and release it before the networks. Yes, I mean,
I'm
because they were only releasing like one episode a week, weren't they? Or
And
I
I'm
mean, was that what
I'm
that?
I'm guessing Funimation, just from a cost saving, like they were in there and they were busting out recordings. They were probably doing
Mhm.
episodes at a time, and they already had them. And I guess they just pushed the release because I think Toonami, I think they did a lot of reruns too. So, and they finally wised up and made it an event, and they did that pretty early on because I remember them advertising Super Saiyan because, well, and you guys remember this too. We heard about Super Saiyan well before we actually saw it because the early internet. But this was
Sure.
way before simulcasting and stuff like that. So there were all kinds of rumors, and then of course you guys probably remember Super Saiyan 5.
Was that the
I don't
was
think I
that the one
remember
where they
five.
was that the one
The
where they turn hairy and like they're more ape-like, or is that four?
That's 4, but 5 turned them white. It was a rumor on the internet, and there was fan art, but it was presented in a very good art style that was convincing to a lot of people. And then there
Hmm.
was the fan manga series Dragon Ball AF, and people thought it was canon and it had just been leaked from Japan, which is if it were to happen now, it would be funny. But at the time, like,
Right.
there wasn't a reason necessarily not to believe it because nobody had friends in Japan being like, "Is this legit?"
Isn't that kind of funny? It's like, oh, you were a lot less skeptical back then, but once again, it's like every generation is that same way, where it's like, no matter what the situation, whether it be pop culture, whether it be history, this, that, and the other, it's like, oh, you start off more gullible, but then you get older, but you're not as gullible. But it's almost like a cultural thing. Like with now, okay, half the stuff you see online is like AI generated, so you're much more skeptical to believe, like, oh, that's definitely not a real picture. It's just like a different version of it, depending on the
Yeah.
advancement of technology and everything else.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing is now, though, there are some companies that are really wising up to that, and now they're using it. Well, like Marvel's a good example of this. They, not with AI, but they leak scripts on purpose. They purposefully shoot scenes that never make it into movies because they've learned that fans hunt for this stuff, and you're not going to stop them. So
Right.
you might as well use it to your advantage to build hype. And that's exactly, a friend of mine has a leaked script of Avengers Doomsday, and he was like, I don't know if it's real, but I really hope it is because it's super good.
I mean, it's, what's the word? That is evil yet genius at the same time
That's what I'm
of Marvel.
saying. It's kind of well, they purposely, because I jokingly, I think they might actually call it that, but I think they the Tom Holland pivot, because Tom Holland was terrible at keeping secrets, so now they actually have actors like shoot scenes that may or may not be in the movie, and the actors are almost as clueless as everybody else because a lot of them only know the scenes that they shoot, and they're only given the parts of the script that they, there are some exceptions, like a Robert Downey Jr. probably gets the whole
Sure.
script, like a Chris Evans would probably get the whole, actually I think Chris Evans at one point said he didn't have the entire script for one of the movies, but I
Hmm.
could be misremembering that. But it is kind of evil genius, but it's an adaptation of the world we live in, and Marvel did a pretty good job of doing that.
Well, I'll tell you what, in this, it's funny, it brings the conversation full circle in like whatever 10 minutes we've been talking. And I feel like that's also, I think, I think that hurt the newer Star Wars movies because what was it? There was so much speculation around the Last Jedi. Like, Snoke is Mace Windu. There's, oh, it's this, and this. And there's so much, it's almost like the hype or the rumors built to such a level to where people's expectations going into it were just in a different universe. So by the time they actually got the finished product, it was just, what the fuck is this? Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah. That happened with the prequels, though. I remember that because I remember I went to see The Phantom Menace. I don't remember, God, how old would I have been? Like 12. And I went with my older cousin, and I was so stoked. And now that I'm much older, I can understand. I left the theater kind of like, I'm not really sure if I liked that or not on the whole. Like, take out the lightsaber duel, which I maintain is the best one in the franchise, from episode one. I was like, I don't know if I liked this movie or not. And now I understand why, because I had built the hype. Don't get me wrong, Phantom Menace is far from a perfect movie.
sure.
It's got good and bad. The pod race is way too long, but Qui-Gon's good. Jar Jar exists, but Maul kind of makes up for all the pitfalls. Like, that lightsaber duel is fantastic. But my expectations were so high because, it was new Star Wars. Like, this is going to be great. And it's like the possibility of it being mediocre never even entered my mind. And so after watching it, I'm kind of like, don't know.
I feel I feel like it was genuinely made in such a way that you appreciate it in different ways depending on what age you are. And then like, when you're younger, it's like, okay, and I think Lucas actually made that comment, like, Jar Jar was created for the younger audience, kind of
Yeah.
that goofy comic relief to, like, kids more to fall in love with it. But then, you fast forward like a decade or so, you're a little bit older, you understand things more. Then you rewatch it, and then you start listening to especially the beginning of the movie conversation where the whole thing started over a trade dispute, and blockades of getting supplies getting to a planet. And it's like, oh my God, this is actually a lot deeper than I originally gave it
Yeah.
credit for. And then especially seeing some certain things play out in current events, it's like, oh, okay. I see what you did there, writers. Good
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
More power to you.
No, for sure. Yeah. And there's a line in How I Met Your Mother because Barney Stinson is. Have you guys seen How I Met Your Mother?
Yeah.
It's been a
Okay.
minute, but yeah.
Yeah. Because we all know Barney is a Star Wars fanatic, and he defends it. Be like, name me, like, I personally appreciate the inner workings of intergalactic trade, and politics. And I'm like, that's a funny line, but he actually has a point because in the original trilogy, and Star Wars does have a reputation of being like really rigidly good versus evil, but that setup really shows the genius and the 4D chess Palpatine was playing, because who would have thought, and this is true throughout history, who would have thought that a minor trade dispute would lead to a world, or in this case, galactic civil war? But it did. That was the first spark of the powder keg that would explode into the Clone Wars.
And I think, Matt, and I feel like we've had this conversation before, but it was like something to the effect of where we brought up on one of our episodes of, like, because if you think about it, the evil plot in Phantom Menace somehow, okay, I feel like it's like a complete difference between that and the time you get to the end of the Clone Wars, beginning of Revenge of the Sith, to where it's like, okay, Palpatine's plans just had to have changed somewhere between them, because one, he didn't know Anakin existed, and then, okay, at some point between Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, it's like, okay, he had to like completely flip the script, and okay, this didn't work, so okay, oh, now I want to start grooming this kid, and it's like, and I feel like, and there may be, source material out there, whether it be, novelizations, books, whatever. But it's like, I mean, if you think about it, once again, he couldn't have known. So how and when did he make the call to switch from plan A to plan B? And like you said, I mean,
one of the big things is, and it's been a long time since I've looked into that, those books. But during the events of Phantom Menace, Plagueis was not the Sith Lord. He was still just an apprentice himself to Plagueis. So Plagueis was alive during that movie. And if I remember correctly, when Maul and Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan were fighting, that was the moment where Palpatine kills Plagueis and takes control of the Sith. So naturally, your plans are going to change, because most of those plans were Plagueis' plans, and then he kills him halfway through that movie, and now they're his plans. Now he can do whatever he wants. I think that's where you see that shift from somebody else's plans to now Plagueis kind of knows at this point, this is supposedly the Jedi chosen one. I'm going to fuck with these guys. Pardon my language. I'm not going to just kill their savior. I'm going to turn their savior into a Sith Lord and turn their savior into their demise, which is far more cynical than just killing some boy.
Yeah, I can't dispute that. So to pivot again, and what I really want to dig into, because I want to introduce you guys to our audience, is how did your podcast start? I mean, I assume you guys have been friends for a while. So how did this podcast, what's the genesis of this?
I think as every great origin story starts, it started around a couple beers, and you just get so deep into conversation, you're like, man, why aren't we filming this? Like, this is comedic gold right here. Like, what are we doing? Like, why are we waking up Monday through Friday going to somebody else's job when we could be doing this for a living?
Yeah, that's a common story. Our first podcast started because my best friend and I would always sit down. Our first podcast started out really political in nature, but that was by virtue of the time in which it began in 2020. But it's basically a current events podcast. But he would have all these parties at his house, and I don't drink, so he and I would and he doesn't really drink either. He does, but not a lot. So we would just be the two idiots talking on the couch, having like these long philosophical debates about politics, or not religion so much, but things like, things that are going on in the culture, or like why this movie sucks or why it's actually good, those kinds of discussions. Yeah. And then at one point he just looks at me and was like, dude, we should do a podcast. And I'm like, bro, come on. Like, really? Like, who's going to want to listen to us talk? So I agreed to do it because he's my best friend. But I was thinking this might last for 2 or 3 weeks, and then he and I will get bored and we'll just keep going on our merry way, and we'll have that fun story. Well, I show up and he's got microphones set up and like legit recording equipment. I'm like, oh, okay. And then it turns out I fell in love with it and made more shows. So yeah, it's a common origin story, as you say.
Our conversations were never philosophical, I would say. We always ended up into quote battles. He'd say some bullshit quote from some random movie, then you got to counter that quote with another quote. Next thing you know, it's an hour later and we're 100 different quotes deep, and it's like we watch far too many films. This should not be a thing.
The fun ones when it would happen over text, because then you could go back and just like reread just how one led to the other, and it's like, taking place over the course of an entire day and a half, and it's just and I think the best part about it's all been organic. There hasn't really been a time to where we've really felt the need to create something other than maybe the occasional, hey, okay, what's a topic we should center on for the next one, or and just, but that's essentially as far as it goes. And just like we talked about before, a lot of it just happens organically, and I really feel like it makes the difference between, it doesn't come across as a show or a recording it doesn't seem forced, it doesn't seem pushed. It just seems okay, like those exact same conversations we've already been having. We're just doing it in this format. And another thing we kind of agreed early on, and yeah, sure, there's been some work here and there with it, but it's mainly been just trying to keep it at a level to where we always enjoy doing it. And if it gets reached a point where if it feels too much like work, okay, then we're kind of doing it wrong. And so it's more of just not completely, but I feel like it's more for us to enjoy it. It's a chance to especially now that me and him live on opposite ends of the state, gives us a chance to hang out, essentially do what we always do. But hey, if we are not able to make it, drive wise, we always have this. And okay, if nothing else, put it out there. And if we can make somebody else laugh, or hey, if somebody wants to join in on the discussion, case in point, it's a good time. It's always something enjoyable. It's always something relaxed, and we love it.
That's the secret, though, is to make it both real and fun, because I always say people can smell bullshit from a mile away, generally speaking, and especially if you live in Indiana close to a hog farm. But like, yeah, the minute it feels like work, and sometimes I'll watch podcasts where I can tell, or at least I get the sense that this is not who these people really are. But then sometimes I watch a podcast where you can tell this is just a group of buddies shooting the shit and they're having a blast, and those are the ones that I tend to enjoy because they're genuinely funny. Like, I feel like I'm sitting down having a conversation with my friends, and Justin shared with me once, they do the Spur of the Moment podcast. He said the greatest compliment I ever got was somebody who said, I listen to you guys while I'm driving in the car. I'm like, that's a pretty solid compliment, actually.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it is.
It's just like, and it's the reason, me and Matt, very, would be like podcast audiobooks, just, personal listing wise. For me, it's always kind of nice. Like it feels like you're in the room, you're just, you're in the same environment as, going back and forth, whatever the topic may be. And it's just, I don't know, it feels like you're there. It feels like you're just part of the discussion, and it's personal. It's all good things. It's nothing, I don't know, something negative.
Yeah, that's why I tend to enjoy doing live streams. I do plenty of recorded stuff, but I love to do live streams because people can comment and join in the discussion. It's super fun. And sometimes somebody will make a really good point and be like, well, there goes my entire platform. Got to rethink that one.
Well, I think, we've only done a recording one so far. I think just for the ease of like, if we need to edit stuff here and there.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe that's something to, give it a try once, or maybe, we can give us a hand with, or, we can kind of figure out a good way to do it to where but I think the biggest thing is just like, okay, doing it live, but then, like, I don't know, maybe it's a negative mindset of, okay, who's going to randomly come across and say, oh, they're live. Let's listen, while they're talking now at this, random time of day on a, random Saturday.
Well, that, and it's hard to put me live. You really just don't know what's going to come out of my mouth.
That's the fun part, though. That's the fun part.
Because we can get a conversation going complete 180 into a really dark area real quick. Odd, strange area.
Oh, speaking of odd, strange areas, I was super thrilled when Lego Star Wars made Darth Jar Jar canon in their story.
God.
Leave it to Lego.
I'm sorry, I'm in it. I'm in it, hook, line, and sinker, because actually the first time I heard somebody point that out was well before, at least that I was aware of. that Darth Jar Jar was a thing. My buddy Nick, who does the Goosebumps Crew podcast, he went on like a 15-minute rant about how Jar Jar's the real villain. This is I think this was right when Revenge of the Sith came out, either that or just before. He was like, it's all Jar Jar. Jar Jar's the puppet master behind everything, because he's the one who initially calls for a vote of no confidence. Oh no, Amidala. He's the one who makes the motion to grant Palpatine the emergency powers that leads to the Clone Wars. He's the one who leads Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon to the Gungan city, where they're able to escape and do all the things. He's one of the first ones to interact with Anakin and sort of welcome him into the group, so to speak. He displays several feats of ability and strength that should not be something he can do, and points to him being a Force user. And I'm just like, this is all ridiculous, but I mean, when you bust out the red yarn, it kind of... I can see it.
Most of those characters you could probably make a case for. I think it was more, we all kind of wanted Jar Jar to have a legitimate role, not just whatever he was. Like
that's
we all love Jar Jar for our own reasons. So we just want more for him.
No, it is. Well, no, and my favorite one is when people say that he was using the Force to influence Boss Nass into letting them go.
Oh, God. Oh, you thought it was Qui-Gon the whole time.
Yeah, no, it turns out.
See, I feel like that's one of those 3 a.m. combination of Wikipedia and ChatGPT deep dives of, hey, just out of curiosity, make him an evil character, connect the dots, and then just show me what you come up with. And then it's just like,
well,
no.
Well, and to be fair, Nick is much better at spinning a yarn than I am, so it was a hilarious sort of bit, because he's coming across as genuinely angry frustrated, not angry, that nobody else is seeing this in the story. It's like, how can you not know? It's obviously him.
Jesus. And I think another thing we've kind of discussed before is we can dump on Disney as much as we can, but there have been a few gems we've been able to agree on. I mean, if nothing else, I mean, I think we can mostly agree the Obi-Wan series been really good. So the Ahsoka series, it's taken a few liberties, but overall, I think it's pretty solid. And then Matt, I think you disagree with me on this one, Andor, right? You said you weren't a fan of it.
I mean, I'm gonna two-part this. First part is I haven't finished it. And the reason for it is I don't think it's that good. So that's my opinion. It's a little slow for me. I get that it's not trying to be like the rest of the Star Wars shows and movies. Trying to play that like political background, kind of special ops, CIA type of shit. But it's just not for me.
Well, and I think if nothing else, it shows a storyline that's outside of the whole Jedi, Skywalker, X, Y, and Z, and it's really just helps build the whole story. I mean, even going back to like a movie like Rogue One, I feel like it was pretty well received by a lot of people, and its main story cast was nothing. It wasn't really Jedi centered. I mean, yeah, sure, there was influence there. There's a few characters here and there on the outskirts, but it really helped take the whole universe from just this very strict storyline about this one family, about these one spiritual group against the other, and it showed kind of the outside. Okay, how's this affecting other people? Okay, how's this, what parts are other people playing? And I felt like whether it be intentional or not by Lucas, whether it be the early films or the prequel trilogy, he just left so much room for those extra stories to be told, whether it be by him or somebody else later on. There's just so much room for expansion, and for better or worse, there's been some gems, there's been some duds, but I feel like there's you can take it in a 1,000 different directions.
Yeah, I was so shocked when I saw Rogue One, because I was like, explain to me how I'm watching a Star Wars movie where no one has a lightsaber, and yet I love this. This is so good. Like, I care about everyone involved here, and I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit of a downer. It's a bit of a downer.
It's like watching Titanic. The ship's going to go down. Everybody's about to die, but it's like somehow you're just hoping they're not.
You were kind of hoping that somehow, some way they got off of the planet. But I don't know. I liked it because it kind of tells the Star Wars series just kind of starts off and kind of in the middle of a story. So
Yeah.
it was nice to
Yeah.
get a story before the story and kind of get a little bit of background. Because then when you go through A New Hope again, you're like, oh,
Now it
that's how
connects.
they got those
This
plans.
is
It's
this
not
is
just
yeah, this is what just happened, and that
yeah,
Vader walking through that doorway takes on a very new context
yeah.
because
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what he did to those guys.
Well, it's like,
you,
and
you realize the guys in the hallway were the lucky ones.
was it another thing that I mean, granted, the technology wasn't. I feel like they're still refining the technology, and granted, you saw a lot better applications for it later on. But there was the CGI or the whatever, however they brought back Tarkin and young Leia. Whatever that process is. I mean, once again, you could tell, yeah, you could tell it's generated. You could tell it's not perfect, but I felt it was satisfying enough for the audience
Yeah.
where,
It
okay,
was
you know
good
what's going on,
enough.
but
Yeah.
you did a good job.
I always say, because again, I'm 100% in the same camp as you are. Like, was it perfect? No. But did it serve its purpose? Yes. And what the rhetorical question I would say, would you have preferred that or another actor who kind of sort of looked like the person but wasn't quite really? And I think kind of a hot take I always have is, they always say you got to give the audience what they want, but I maintain that a lot of the times the audience doesn't actually know what they want. They only know
Yeah.
what they don't have, and that's what they want.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's
on that same note, we'd sit here and I mean, yeah, I would argue that yes, the CGI route was better than trying to recast. However, let's just say for the sake of argument that in the early 2000s they had that technology and they decided to go that route with say like Obi-Wan and they just, they didn't bring Ewan McGregor. They decided to, you know what I mean, where it's like, oh, they tried to go that route, but they went the opposite way, and literally everybody fell in love with the actor and like, okay, he is Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it's
Yeah.
like there's no conflict between the two. And I feel like he made the choice to get as close to the original, mannerisms X, Y, and Z as possible, but he really became the embodiment of that character.
Oh, for sure. And I think the difference there is that Tarkin is the Tarkin we see is the same Tarkin that we see in A New Hope. It's the same time frame. Whereas with Ewan McGregor, which I agree is one of the best things to come out of the prequels, Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan.
Oh, for
but
sure.
That's what, 30 years before? Somewhere around there?
Yes.
30-ish?
Yeah, right. Give or take, yeah.
30,
Well,
35.
even like,
yeah.
even like, was it from Phantom Menace where he's like super young, he's got the long ponytail and it's like, short hair, and then he transitions to the mullet and the beard, and Attack of the Clones, and it's like, and granted, I feel like it was just because I was young at the time, but for the longest time, I didn't think it was the same actor. Because it looks
he looks way different.
Yeah, and
I
it's
can,
just,
yeah.
Yeah.
well, and then you go watch him in movies like Black Hawk Down or these other. It's like, wait,
Moulin Rouge.
That's
that's
when you're like,
fucking Obi-Wan
"That's
Kenobi."
fucking which God, I love that video of Ewan McGregor telling that story. For those who don't know, I think he's on Graham Norton. Yeah, because
Yeah.
he says fucking. So yeah, he's on Graham Norton. Yeah, he's telling the story. It's like, I was driving my daughter, his kid, to school, and somebody like cut him off on the road, and he sped after him because he was gonna give him what for. And he was like, and I rolled down my window and I was telling him what a horrible driver was. He's got this look on his face, and I realized, like, in his mind, he's like, that's fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi.
How does your day just get any more Twilight Zone or better? And it's like,
Only when he comes up and says hello there.
just take my money, sir. Take
Yeah.
the car while you're at it. I'm sorry.
How often whenever he's at a public event, how many people do you think ask him to drop hello there?
All of them.
I think you'd actually be surprised on the low side of that.
Really?
I think. Just a guess, just a feeling.
Maybe.
I don't think.
I've never heard him talk about it, so that might be true. But speaking of which, you guys may have heard this joke before, but I got to share because my buddy Max told me this joke the other day, and it's just perfect. It's like, what did Yoda say when he saw himself in 4K? HDMI.
Ah, that is pretty good, actually.
I was like, oh man, that's solid. That's a great joke.
Now, okay, I feel like now you need to print a sticker or something and then go put it on the side of your TV right by all the ports and just like that's gonna be your new thing. You're gonna sell those stickers like a little cutout for the little port to go in. But that's gonna there's only a little bit of merch.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't feel like being sued by Mickey Mouse.
Uh, oh my God.
They need to sue themselves for what they're doing.
HDMI. In court you are. Haha.
Oh my, didn't South Park do an entire like couple episodes on that where they brought in Mickey Mouse and
Yes, they
he's like
did.
walking the line between the Marvel and the Star Wars cast, and Mickey Mouse is like a mob boss or something.
Do I own them? It's so good.
Leave
And
it
here-
to South Park.
God, what I love about South Park so much is they always they always legally toe that line to where like Disney is waiting to sue them, and yet they can't because they're so good. They're right there because they never say it's Mickey Mouse. They
Sure,
never
yeah.
say it's Mickey Mouse, but everybody knows it's Mickey Mouse. And the voice is different enough where they can't say, and plus they're protected by parody, but it's like they always
I still feel like they have to have a few lawyers on retainer.
Oh, they
just to-
absolutely do because the infamous Tom Cruise won't get out of the closet. That's because of their lawyers. They're like, we want to say that he's gay. You can't say that. We want to do this. Well, wait, can he be in a literal closet? And they're like, yeah, you can do that.
And I feel like that's an entire episode in itself.
I mean, yeah, it is. God, South Park. I got a whole new appreciation because last year I started doing a rewatch through the whole thing because I missed a big chunk of it when I just for whatever reason wasn't interested, and I forgot how genius that show is. Just consistently, genuinely hilarious.
Well, it's like even they'll take like social issues and in the weirdest way, it's like right at the end as they're wrapping up, they'll start like talking or some kind of little monologue where it's like it's like teaching a lesson, but in the weirdest roundabout way possible of like, I mean, and somehow it's being told by Randy Marsh of all people. I mean, it was I feel like that entire show, that guy's my hero. That's just
Oh, God, it's so good. And then but I mean, it's Matt and Trey don't get enough credit, which I think is because they piss a lot of people off. But it's like they're masters at making something both insightful and hilarious at the same time.
Mhm.
Like it can be extremely profound, but also so insanely stupid. But it's just there. Well, I mean, I know you guys are Lord of the Rings fans, but like, and a lot of their jokes are so deep cut that like you have to be a massive nerd to get them. But like the Ballad of Lemmiwinks,
I'm not sure I've seen that episode.
it's oh God, I can't believe
if I have, it's been too long.
I can't believe I'm going to say this with a straight face. Lemmiwinks is the class gerbil that Mr. Garrison finds out that if you are terminated for being, in his case, he would be terminated for being gay, that he can sue them and make a lot of money. So he does everything he can to try to get fired. And one of the things he does is he takes the class gerbil and inserts it into Mr. Slave's anus. And Lemmiwinks has to find his way out. And the song that they play it's a direct homage to the Glenn Yarbrough The Greatest Adventure from the animated Hobbit film.
Oh my God. That's like 6 levels deep to
I
where
know, but the funny thing is, I'm such a massive nerd that when I was watching this episode, I'm like, I think this is referencing that song because it's sung in the same way. And I looked it up, and yes, they confirmed it is a nod to the Glenn Yarbrough soundtrack of the Hobbit movie because it's sung in that real minstrel sort of way. And it's just, I'm watching this, I'm like, this is so stupid, but at the same time, it's such a direct reference. Like, this is ridiculous.
Well, I think that, and me and Matt can fully admit this, that granted we are diehard Lord of the Rings fans, but I feel like both of us have tried to, whether it be the animated Hobbit movie or just like some of the pre-Peter Jackson like movies, things they've done. It's like I feel like we've tried, but it's very difficult for us to try to watch those or try to, I guess, enjoy those just because I don't know. I guess respect it because it became beforehand, and you try to, I mean, respect as much as possible. But as far as I guess getting into it. As far as like enjoying it, I feel like we're just not able to. Whether it be the Hobbit animated one, whether it be some of the work they did beforehand, and hell, even some of the video games I've discovered that they made prior to that. It's like, okay, it's there. You can tell it's Lord of the Rings, but it's like you can tell it was before Jackson's vision, which I think has become the whole modern.
It,
Like that's the image. That's the world.
yeah, no,
And
it
anything
has.
outside that's difficult.
Yeah, and I can attest to the why. As someone who did enjoy those prior to Jackson's, I can say it has a bit of a reverence because prior to the Peter Jackson films, that was all we had. That was
Right.
the only thing we had. And speaking of, have you guys ever played the? I can't remember. I think it was It was either NES or SNES. The Lord of the Rings game they made, which was way before anything Peter Jackson.
I have not.
It's
I, I,
it's a
I have out of
mind.
accident.
It's I played it out accident too. It's a mind bender. Like
I
because they're
I had
trying to take that kind of story
hmm
and make it a game at the same time because it's like you have to get out of the Shire, but before you can leave the Shire, you have to find all your shit,
Oh
which
my
is
God.
apparently not in your house. It's spread all
Yeah.
throughout the Shire, and it's like,
It
what am I doing? This
didn't it look like almost like a Pokemon
it was
knockoff of like
very it
like the
was
overhead.
closer to Zelda. It looked a lot
Okay,
like,
yeah,
but with it was kind of like a right in between the first Zelda and Link to the Past because it wasn't complete side scroll, but it wasn't like super tiny sprite either.
sure.
Yeah,
No, and
it's
like I said,
weird.
I discovered that at a pure accident. I was in deployment in Kuwait in 2020, and a buddy and I took one of those, those little Super NES they released that had like 20 games on it.
Yep.
I took it over there just with me. Okay, it's small, it's easy to carry, and I had a buddy over there who's a tech guru, and he said, "Oh, hey, do me a favor, let me see that SNES for a minute." And he had some kind of computer program. It was probably half pirated. I don't know, to
Oh
where he
yeah,
basically
he put in a
loaded
ROM. Yeah, he put ROMs in it. Yeah,
he loaded pretty much every SNES game onto that little thing, and I was surprised it had the hard drive space. But I guess those games didn't take up
they're
much back
really
then. But
small. Yeah, that's essentially all that piece of technology is. It's basically just a legitimate ROM reader.
mhm.
That's basically all it is.
Well, it was on that list that he downloaded, and I just randomly stumbled across it and like, oh, Lord of the Rings game. Then I'm like, oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
But yeah,
I
I didn't make it out of the Shire. I think I was stuck on trying to find like Sam's gloves or
yeah,
something
it
weird.
was yeah. And I'm like, I can see why this game failed miserably.
Once again, for the time, I guess.
But I mean, it's just one of those things. So I can attest to that. Growing up, loving the Hobbit movie, liking okay the animated Lord of the Rings, and the Return of the King was there. And
hmm
when you learn the story behind those movies, it's kind of another mind bender because the Lord of the animated the animated Return of the King shouldn't even exist. It was literally commissioned because Bakshi didn't finish the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and they were like, "Well, we have to have a trilogy," so they hired Rankin Bass to make the last movie because they did the first movie, and even they were like, "Why are we making this? Like, we
hmm
don't have any of the character designs. We didn't do the story. Like, what?" They admit that it wasn't great.
Well, it's kind of interesting. Like it was it was like right when the first movie was coming out, and PlayStation 2 was still relatively new. There was because they released and me and Matt, I mean Matt's personal favorite, and correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, was the Return of the King game when that came
Yeah,
out. Yeah,
by law.
I always prefer the Two Towers. Just I don't know, maybe that's because I played it the most, and that was always my favorite. But then, and I didn't learn until years later, they released the Fellowship of the Ring game. But it was almost like while Peter Jackson was making the movies, and so it was like a video game that was strictly based off the books, and it was almost like off that SNES when we were talking about. And I feel like if I can, I'd say it's one of those games where if I randomly see it at a flea market for $5, okay, I'm gonna buy it and just throw it in just for the hell of it. Okay, it's $5.
Right.
But once again, it's kind of showing okay the pre-Jackson vision of just okay they didn't have any visuals of it. They didn't have like oh imagine this actor is this role and they did their best, which I guess in that regard I can appreciate it as much as I can.
They did the same thing with a Harry Potter game, and I remember when I saw it, I was super confused because it was shortly before the first movie had come out, but they made a
Mhm.
game based solely on the books, and I'm like, this is a bit of a this is kind of weird because I'd read the books, so I'm like, I recognize all this, but it's really strange. This is an interesting idea of what you think it is. And the movies, the good thing about a film franchise is it does sort of solidify the lore in terms of how it percolates through the culture, because it's like we all have a decent idea of what, you know, like Ron Weasley looks like. We all, most of us view him as Rupert Grint and Hermione. Fortunately, they pretty much did dead ringer casting for just about everybody in terms of how they're described in the books, at least the main characters. But yeah, that game's a bit of a mind bender after seeing the Harry Potter film franchise. You're kind of like, wow, that's different.
Did you guys hear? And I feel like it's all over at least my social media. They not dead drop. They shadow dropped the one of the remake one of the Lord of the Rings games. It was like War in the North or something like 2 days ago. It was like originally a PC game or an Xbox PC and Xbox game that they remastered but didn't tell anybody, and they just dropped into the okay, now you can buy it. And apparently that's allegedly the rumor is that they've acquired enough licensing rights and whatnot to where they're going to start doing that with a lot of those early 2000s games.
Nice.
So and it's yes, Matt, you can make fun of me because I have a PlayStation now and you can buy it on Xbox but not PlayStation. So feel free to check the Xbox store, and if it's on sale, let me know how it is. But
you can't buy it on your gay station.
They don't. I looked it up. It's only on PC and Xbox, but allegedly they're supposed to. There's gonna be more on the way. So here's to hoping.
I think you guys got the Halo drop though, didn't you, on Gay Station?
We did, but didn't they say they changed it?
Yeah, it's not quite the full game. It's completely different. It's honestly kind of crap.
You know what the ironic thing is? Remember, well, you were with me as the PopCon event we went to. Remember, we were looking at the video game vendors and whatnot. They had all the old video games.
Yeah.
Literally, I went and bought copies of Black Ops 1 and 2, plus a copy of, how was it? A copy of the Halo anniversary, like 10-year anniversary edition. And then fast forward a month later, they're re-releasing them. And I bought those for that exact reason. Like they hadn't done that yet. And I was like, oh, yeah. I missed these games. I want to play them again. And here they are re-releasing them on modern consoles. Like, wow, that's a waste of money.
Yeah. I don't really care for the re-releases because the graphics really aren't any better. The game is still the same game. It's just like, there's not really much of a reason for me to go back and play them. I still own the original. Why do I need to go spend more money on a re-release when I can go pop the original then?
I thought Battlefront was good though.
I thought it was worse.
I thought they did a good job with that, and then they added like 2 new levels to it and a little more.
Two things about that. I felt it was a worse game, but that might be because I really freaking suck at it, and I was pretty darn good at it back in the day. So maybe I'm out of practice. But I feel like they changed the game enough to where they nerfed me completely out of it. They said, you know what? Screw him. Let's make it hard on this guy. I don't know why, but I didn't used to suck at it.
No, I ran into that where I've had it for a while, but it's the first time I've gone through and played the Master Quest of Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. And I don't know why, but I was under the impression that all they did was raise the difficulty. And then I realized, because I remember the original game, I'm like, wait a minute, this is different. And then I went and researched it. And yeah, they punish you for being good at the original game. Because they changed the dungeons around. So if you're doing it based on memory, you will die.
That is so rude.
Interesting.
Oh, dude, but no, once I realized it, I was like, oh, this is great. This is awesome. But yeah, no, like all the things that I was used to looking for and looking out for are not there. And there's in the first level in the Deku Tree, there's a level where they have the spinning like thorn pike, and when you're looking at it, it looks too low. Okay. But I'm like, okay, I can't go that way. But there's literally nothing else I can do. I have to get on that moving platform and duck down. It's just high enough to where if you duck, you'll barely miss it. But in the original game, it's higher, so it's obvious all you have to do is duck down.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, okay, this is going to be tough. This is going to be tougher.
Well, Matt, I'll tell you what, you can't dispute this one, at least. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to see if it just automatically comes to your brain.
I can't dispute it.
Going back to the original Halo game, if you're going to have one memory of the amount of hours and just time we put into one level, one way of playing the original Halo game, what comes to mind?
Oh, prisoner level with rocket launchers, 100%. We lost almost a full childhood on that level. Just just killing
Oh
each
my
other's
God.
with rocket launchers.
Starting at like 8 o'clock at night. Next thing we know, the sun's coming up, and we've been playing the same level on multiplayer with this the smallest level there is, with the most explosive things you can possibly download on it. It's just complete chaos, and yeah, no sleep that night.
Those are the good old days.
Oh man, I miss those days. I don't know about you guys. Do you guys game online a lot or not so much?
Not so much recently, but I feel like newer games have kind of staled a little bit. So I'm just waiting for those next good few releases of some games to get back into it.
I'm not a fan. I don't like online gaming. I will multiplayer in person, but that's just because I'm my ass is old.
Yeah, same.
Maybe that's just the thing. Maybe it's literally just a sign of okay that we're not in that generation of that enjoys that
For
It's
sure.
like,
And I'll be the first to admit it. But shit talking is way more fun when you look at your buddy and do it versus over a microphone.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's like you suck.
it's a lot more personal than when they make you mad. You find something nearby and you can actually physically throw it at them, and
Well, yeah. How are you supposed to cheat over video?
Yeah,
Like if I wanna win, I just nut tap him.
Exactly.
I can't nut tap you from across the state.
They have all the advantages. Well, I want to take a quick break to tell everybody about today's affiliate sponsor, our friends at Wizard.ai. Here's a quick video to tell you about them, and then we'll be right back. And I've got some more questions about your podcast when we return.
Okay.
Stop wasting your time on manually editing your videos. The secret AI tool will do the work for you. One of the best things about it is that it gives your video the potential to go viral. Visit this page, sign in, create a project by clicking on this button. Choose a video that you want to use. Click on the AI clip button. Wait for the magic. It is scanning through the video and looking for the parts that has the potential to go viral. Instead of editing the video by yourself, it does the work for you. It even generates headline and captions which fit your video. Another surprise is that they generate video description or social post for you to use. Once done, click Export to Post.
People didn't make all the same mistakes that we made in the beginning because there's a lot of them. But
the amount of different websites I went through trying to find a good one that would allow me to him and do the online, because we live apart, trying to find a good one that didn't cost a fortune and that actually worked, the software is user friendly was it's been a nightmare and a half.
Yeah,
but I feel like maybe Zoom is the key, and it was right in front of me the whole time.
Yeah, Zoom is kind of the only bad part is you have to pay for it. But let everybody know, if you do make content, as well as anybody else, short form content is a must anymore, not just on YouTube, but also Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. They all want shorts and reels, and Wizard.ai makes it super perfect. And I can finally tell everybody about Wizard Agent. I've tried a lot of different products that are basically an AI video editor. This is the only one that actually does what you tell it to consistently. It's amazing. And what I love about it is it can generate stuff, but you can also give it stuff and say, edit it this way, and it'll do it. It's fantastic. But if you use the promo code Arete, you will save 5% off of your Wizard.ai for 12 months. So use that to sign up and try it out. There is a free version, but some of the tools you don't have. But to what you were saying, Reid, there is a bit of a learning curve here, and that's part of the reason why I, started the network, which we've now dubbed the Pantheon, which actually that was another Max idea. So I was like, I feel like network is super boring. And he was like, Pantheon. And I'm like, yes, that's it.
So boring. Everybody's using network. I need something more majestic, something more godlike. Pantheon.
Well, he explained it. He was like, well, it's a Greek word. And obviously you've got the hoplite helmet. That's kind of the imagery. And, he was like, all the different shows cover different things. So it's kind of like the pantheon of Greek gods. And I'm like, yes.
All right. I'll buy that.
Yeah. So I was like, hey, sounds better than network. But, which I want to say again to you guys, welcome to the network. We're happy to have, welcome to the Pantheon. Happy to have you. But yeah, so where do you guys, I know it's going to be fun, but like, obviously we all have goals, but like, what are some of your guys' goals for the future of your podcast moving forward?
Well, as far as, obviously we always like to, I mean, I feel like a lot of people would like chase followers, trying to chase likes, this, that, and the other. And those things are nice. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's nice to, it feels like, like, especially if you put a lot of time, effort, and work into the show, the production, whatever. It's nice to like, at least it's being watched. That's always nice. But I think, Matt, feel free. I mean, if you have something different, but for me personally, I feel like the biggest reward is really just the people we get to meet. I mean, just even if it costs a couple bucks to whether it be to go to a con or this, that, and the other, just the opportunity to talk to people, meet new people, get different perspectives. I don't know. It's never a boring conversation. And we'll just and we just released most recent episode we released was with we were talking about at the beginning was with Pacina. I always mispronounce it,
Yeah.
Pacina Brothers. And even just that, just sitting down with them and they're just, we're just having a casual conversation and then they're sharing all these very intricate details of stuff that we had no clue about before.
That blew my
And,
mind because that completely contradicted the whole, story that I had grown up knowing. Like, yeah, it was supposed to be a Jean-Claude Van Damme game, and then that got scrapped. And he's like, no, it was never a Jean-Claude Van Damme game. And I'm like,
Yeah, and it's like even at the end of the day, if we don't, if a dime never comes out of this, it's like, okay, that was an experience. That's something I would have never met those two. I would have never, interact with them, heard it without, this show. And it's, if nothing else, that's just, I guess my goal is to continue doing that and to continue to get as much as that as possible. And I mean, that's just, I don't know, it's fulfilling, like I said, as an experience rather than something that's, I guess, tangible that you can hold in your hand, if that makes sense.
oh no, for sure. Because I have friends that I have now solely because I do this. And it's just like you said, like under any other circumstances, I would have never met the Pacina brothers. And they are super cool, super nice guys.
Yeah.
They chatted with me for like a solid probably 10 minutes just shooting the shit. And like, I was always curious because I asked them, I said, like, what's your guys' like martial arts journey? And you could tell they lit up when I asked them that because obviously it's something they would love to talk about. And it's like they're from an era where being a martial artist in that time, it's not like it is now. There wasn't a gym on every other corner. It's like they had to go to China.
Right. Well, and even like just, because we're still, me and Matt are still, we've been to a couple, but we're still relatively new in the grand scheme of things to like go into different con events, whether it be big, small. And, there's always the lines, whether it be like the people that they're signing autographs, X, Y, and Z. You get your minute or two with them, you get your photo op, cool. But, even if it's like, it would be a writer, artist, actor, this, that, and the other, just getting to have that opportunity just to talk with them for more than like 10 seconds and then just, moving on, and it's not like there's no expectation of it either. It's more of just like, please, whatever you would like to talk about. Is there anything like just listening and being able to just have those conversations? It's just, it's fulfilling. And like, okay, if we go the extra mile and like put it out there, whether it be, on our podcast, social media, whatever, it's just, okay, if you, something to listen to, something to watch if you're, interested.
Yeah, it touches my heart too with not so much my show specifically, but like Haley does the Part of Your Broadway World podcast. She's gotten a ton of names. Like she's gotten former Disney animators on there, several people who have been on Broadway. Bill Farmer, the voice of Goofy, has been on her show, and they all have one thing in common, and they are all super awesome people. Like just the nicest people you could ever hope to meet. And it does my heart good to know that there are people working in Hollywood or on Broadway or in those industries that are genuinely good people, because you always hear like the cynical myth of the celebrity, and it's kind of like maybe they're not A-listers, but they're certainly known. These are people that are known, and it always makes me feel good to learn that somebody's a really, really, really awesome person.
Yeah.
And then you've got, the Goosebumps crew, who they're responsible for bringing some people from the Goosebumps show back or onto the con circuit because they've been on their podcast. And again, super nice people. Like I got to meet Tim Jacobus because I helped Nick out with another con. Tim Jacobus was the cover artist for, I think, all but one of the original. Nick will kill me if I get this wrong. I think all but one or two of the original like run of Goosebumps books. Yeah. Super nice guy. Like he is super, super awesome. Totally cool.
when I feel like at least the ones we've interacted with, I mean, a lot of them are just, they're more, I mean, like you said, asking like, hey, what, the martial arts background, just lighting up and just like, oh yeah, be more than willing to. I feel like that's the case with a majority of people, where it's like just being able to just talk to them like people, just, I mean,
Yeah.
because it's, if nothing else, it's relaxing for them. It's like it's fascinating for us, and it's really that lower threat environment to where it's not, I'm sure they're still being in the public sphere slightly on guard, but just being able to maybe lower the guard for a few minutes and just, okay, just, oh, I'm just talking to you like I would, somebody in my, personal friend pool or family. And and it's a weird compliment in a way.
Yeah, no, I can see that because one of the things I always said, if I ever got a chance to talk to Tom Holland, even if it wasn't in an interview setting, like if I was just chatting with him, I'd ask him about his early stage career because I'm fascinated by that. I'm like, it informs who you are today as an actor. Like you can move the way you do as Spider-Man because of your extensive, dance training. Like
Hmm.
that's how you can do that stuff. And I'd like to think that he would light up and talk about that because I saw an interview that somebody did with Ian McKellen where they spent the vast majority of the time talking about his stage career. And you can always
Hmm.
kind of tell, you can usually kind of tell when they drop their guard just a little bit and then like really get to, have fun.
Oh
And
yeah.
those are the interviews that I love watching because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, they're not asking me the same question I've been asked 50 times today. What's it like to play Magneto? It's like, dude, I get it. I love it. But like, I've answered this question. Can
Yeah.
It's
we?
like,
It's like Hugh Jackman. People don't realize Hugh Jackman he did plays.
Yeah.
Like that's why he can sing. Like it's weird to see him in I can't think of the name of that movie now.
Greatest Showman.
No, yes, but no. That's a
Les,
great movie.
Les
Uh
Miserables.
that one, Les Mis.
Yeah.
Is singing, dance, all, and people don't realize like that's how he started.
Yeah.
It's
No,
hard to believe that Wolverine did plays. It's just wild to think about.
hey,
Like
dancing's
polar
hard,
opposite.
people.
Yeah.
Dancing is hard.
Uh, Well, and then, like you said, I mean, just they drop their guard and just the best way. I mean, and like I said, they'll what if they walked into the conversation, think, okay, maybe 5, 10 minutes tops. Fast forward, okay, we're here an hour later, and that's the way I felt like when we were talking to the Pacino brothers, where it's like, okay, they're especially because it was the end of the day, they were kind of start packing up, one like, hey, can would you like to talk to us just for a few minutes? We weren't trying to take up a whole lot of their time, and then it ended up being like a half-hour ordeal to where I was like at the end of it, oh my God, it's been a half hour. It's like, I mean, thank you. Thanks for,
Yeah.
I mean, you could have been, said bye after 5 minutes and go on with your life. But I mean, it's flattering in a way.
Yeah, I'm super stoked because I got their card too, and I wanted to make sure your guys' video came out first because you did it first. But like, I'm super stoked to talk to them and just because I want to explore this whole like sort of untold story of the origins of what could arguably be one of the great, if not the greatest, fighting game franchise ever made.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the rug got pulled out from under me listening to them talk. I don't know. You guys probably weren't looking at me, but I'm watching the conversation, and at one point my jaw drops because he's like, "Yeah, it was never gonna. We always had this in mind." And then hearing him say that, I'm like, that actually makes so much sense because so
Oh, yeah.
much of that stuff seemingly came out of left field. So I believe
Hmm.
that it was the intention from the beginning. And then Midway finally just gave them permission to do the thing they wanted to do the whole time.
Mhm.
Well, it was like right at the beginning was what they were talking about how it was literally just them and a bunch of friends that they grew up with, just no money, no resource whatsoever. And was the thing he said, just go do something cool, just go, and have fun, and we'll film, and we'll see what happens. Then somehow that evolved into what it's become, and to that same point of, and I feel like that's the reason why it was successful, why it was because it was so organic. It wasn't trying to be something you're not. It wasn't trying to do something for the wrong reasons. It was so organic, it was so genuine. And, fast forward to today, that's why it's still so memorable and so meaningful. And because that they take that same formula and are still applying it. And that's why it's remained. And I feel it's going to be in the zeitgeist of, just pop culture forever. I mean, it has its place. It's not going anywhere.
Well, I
It's
mean,
firmly cemented.
the latest movie just came out, and I want to know if you guys agree with me. Having learned what I've learned now, I think Mr. Pacina should get a payday, go in and do some mocap for a special Johnny Cage skin for the new Mortal Kombat game update.
I feel like it would be
Yeah.
low lift on the studio's end, like as far as money goes, but that would be like an awesome, yes, absolutely. But I'll tell you what, I will raise you one. Now that he's a little bit older in years, I feel like naturally he'd come back as a Raiden cameo or some kind of like, even
Ooh.
maybe not like a main thing, schedule conflicts, whatever, but even just like quick couple second Easter egg, just something that gets put into the modern movie where he is in full, Raiden garb and like just, I mean, because like I said, they don't have to make him look as an older guy. He's
Yeah.
a little older now.
I just
So
think that would be really cool because they released the Jean-Claude Van Damme skin for
Mm.
Johnny Cage, and I'm kind of like, well, let's get the real OG. Let's get him in there because that's, like you said, that's a hell of an Easter egg. And I feel like a lot of people don't know that story, but if they did, I mean, I
Or at least I think I don't think we put it in the actual footage of the show, but we mentioned to him offline, but afterwards, like, look, all this stuff, just some of we've only skimmed the surface of what you guys have shared with us today. It's like I really feel like you guys need to make your own documentary or just
yeah,
something, even if it's not crazy long, but like every time you hear about Mortal Kombat in some other documentary or some other thing, it's always in the context of, oh, this was the time where video games started becoming violent. Parents were in uproar about the blood, and think the kids were going to be negatively influenced, and that's all the press it gets. That's all as the deeper the conversation goes. And just the little bit amount of time we had with him, I'm sitting there thinking, like, tell me more. I'm just like, I wish there were more hours of the day, and we just like, tell me more.
yeah, and I think it's important to preserve that because I mean, you know, one of these days, everyone involved will be gone, and it would be nice to have that for posterity.
Mm.
Just to know
Oh yeah.
because I mean that's how legends become legends because the people who were actually there eventually either never told their story or nobody heard it.
Or sorry, I'm just because I'm going to forget this in 30 seconds if I don't say it. I think one of the first within the first couple minutes of the show, they mentioned like how them and all the original cast used to get together as kids and like play D&D and like board
Yeah.
games and stuff. Okay, tell me, even they could do it for charity. Okay, make it a charitable, whatever. Stream it online, find something else, stream it. Tell me you couldn't get all those people that are still with us together. Okay, to do some kind of live shoot where they're all sitting around playing a board game or playing D&D or something like that, and that wouldn't like get a bunch of people to watch it. Just
Oh,
for
it
the
would.
just sheer posterity of it's like, hey,
Oh,
here's the
for
original
sure.
Mortal Kombat cast, and they're doing what they love. They're just they're doing something they enjoy doing
Yeah,
together,
tell
and
tell
it's being
me
filmed.
tell me Nerdist or G4 wouldn't be all over that.
Oh, beyond a doubt,
Like, come on.
it's sellable.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I just can't say this enough. God, I was so floored by how nice those guys were. But how about that Johnny Cage cosplayer?
Oh Lord,
Holy
he
crap.
was something else. He blew. I think he shocked everybody with his physique and his just demeanor.
Dude.
When he just goes into full out splits, you're like, all right,
No,
you
he
were
got me.
annoying 10 seconds later.
He
But
got
respect
me.
now.
He got me with the high kick, and I went, "Oh, didn't expect that." And then he did full splits. I was
Yeah.
like, and then he went out and did it for the talent show. And you know
Say
what
what
though?
you want, but
I got to shout out the brothers because that guy. I heard him come back in and talk to them after he had done the talent show, and he was
Mhm.
almost in. I think he was in tears actually, and he was just thanking them because it's like, wow, man, like that's got to be so incredible for them that something that they did touched somebody's life in that way, and
just
that's mind-boggling.
this many years later, I mean, I mean, I don't remember how old the kid was, but it's just like you're having that level of influence X amount of
I
years
think
after the
he
original
had
one.
to have been around our age because I heard him talking. He was around for when the original game came out, so he had to be close to our age, and that's I mean that's and they were so there for it.
Hmm.
Like that's how cool they were, and they were
Yeah.
loving every minute of it. It was super fun. Yeah, I hope they have another one of those because I mean, not for nothing. I know that it was the first one, so obviously there's a lot to learn from it. But I think conceptually it was a great idea, and I hope there's more.
Actually, if you want, and we can talk offline for a couple minutes after we wrap up, but I can give you what information I currently have on
I know they've got
that.
some. I know they've got some other events happening this year, but they're more like they're more like events, not conventions. But like, yeah,
Lot more scaled down, yeah.
yeah, which is fine. I think they had those planned already because it seems like that's happening kind of fast. But
Yeah, luckily, me and Matt have been I mean, they actually did an event prior to that. It was all it was a similar con event, but it was all Fallout based, and so it was mainly just
Oh,
geared towards that. But no, it was such a big success that I mean, just the sheer turnout. They had to extend the hours that they rented the building for by like 2 or 3 hours because you still have
really?
people lined up
Wow.
around the building to get in, and it's they definitely tapped into something there.
That's awesome. That's great because I have learned because this year I helped Nick out at the Goosebumps crew with Indiana Comic Con, and
Hmm.
believe it or not, that was the first convention I ever been to. I
No, no
went
kidding.
I went to one really small one a number of years ago. I hesitate to even call it a convention, but it was not good, so it kind of soured because I thought they were all like this.
Sure.
But God, it was great. And then I'm addicted now because the Final Frontier went to In Conjunction, and that was a great weekend. That was
Hmm.
so much fun, just getting to hang out with hardcore nerds for a whole weekend is great. And then Shelbyville Fandom Con was a lot of fun. And then we're going to be at VoltCon in October, and I'm already stoked because I know it's going to be a great time. Because the guys putting on that event are just super cool. So I know
Oh
it's going
yeah.
to be great. So awesome, awesome.
Just yeah, I mean, just I think because the Fallout thing was the first live thing me and Matt attended for the show, and it was really scaled down. It ended up being more of like just us walking around and doing like individual interviews with people, the different vendors, different participants, and whatnot. Everybody had a good time and all that, and so it's like we're still working on I guess what that looks like for us, like what kind of works best, whether it be the sedentary table, moving around, some kind of hybrid thing between the two. And it's been fun. I mean, even getting to and we'll release the once the videos are all edited and whatnot. But I mean, just getting to interview like the different contestants, whether it be the cosplay contest, the talent show, and it's like just once again, just going back to that what I mentioned before about just getting to meet new people, getting to hear stories you never would have heard otherwise, and if nothing else, just making friends that hey, I would have never ran into this person otherwise.
Yeah, no, I still have a pile of business cards, and this is from Indiana Comic Con. Like, just I loved the networking, just going around and talking to people, and so many people are so receptive, and I love meeting people who have talent and have goals
Hmm.
and are just working. And I like to do my part to see, like, hey, like, my podcast isn't huge, but if you want to come on and talk about your stuff, like,
Oh,
that might
absolutely.
get you. And we've had so many authors on this show, and they're all thrilled to talk about it because it's their baby, it's their life's work, and it's like
Oh
somebody.
yeah.
This is a story that needs to be told, and unfortunately, there just aren't enough avenues for small independent creators to get their work or their message out there. So I love being a part of that.
Well, was it Matt? Was it 2 episodes ago? We had that author on. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah, he
saw
was
some of the
awesome.
clips.
That was really good. That was like it went in like 1,000 different directions. I don't think either one of us expected, and just no, it was great. And I th it was like towards the end we were actually talking to him, saying, "Hey, going to like these events and like there's people out there that'll help." I mean, because didn't we talk to him about like trying to turn one of his books or like trying to get some kind of concept where like visuals or like turning into some kind of like animated short or okay, what it might be look like turning into a show or a movie or something.
Yeah, yeah, to use some of these AI tools that are out there online right now to take not necessarily an entire one of his books, but to take a chapter and see how it goes. Pick
Yeah.
pick your favorite chapter, your most action packed, whatever chapter you got that you really enjoy. Throw it through an AI generator, make a quick film of it, and just see what it looks like conceptually, and see if there's some interest there online.
Yeah, we're
And,
actually
and he had said that was something he'd never really thought of before.
yeah. No, we're actually working on we've got there are actually two that are finished between me and my friend Max. He uh has access to voice actors, so
Oh,
made
nice.
we've made a couple of audiobooks, and they're not released yet. One's completely finished. And then one, I think part one is done, I know, and then no, he told me part two is done. They're supposed to be released later this year, but yeah, I always like to share this story. I interviewed the author of this book, Debbie Lynn, and
Hmm.
she's from Shelbyville as well, and she lives there. And I was kind of surprised she wasn't at Shelbyville Fandom Con. She probably didn't know what was going on, but like my mom told me about this book because she and Debbie are friends, and
Hmm.
it sounds very bad, but my mom told me, "Oh yeah, she's from Shelbyville," and I went, "Oh, okay." So like, okay, yeah, I'll read it, but
Well, that's the thing too, especially being from Indiana. It's like, if you lived anywhere else, it's like, oh, Shelbyville, Indiana, where's that? And there's like, as opposed to like, if you've lived there, it's like maybe not quite as like mysterious, or maybe it's
Yeah.
not quite as like it's like it's down the road. It's like, oh, it's just
Well, and to me,
been there
it's
a
just a
thousand
small
times.
town that I grew up in, so it's like,
Hmm.
but there's actually a fair number of famous people. Not to mention, depending on which comic book series you're reading, Captain America is from there.
Hmm.
I had no idea.
Bucky Barnes is from Shelbyville, Indiana.
No, like seriously, like canon.
No, yeah, comic book canon. Bucky Barnes is from Shelbyville, Indiana.
I had
I
zero
didn't know
idea.
that.
Oh yeah, no,
Interesting.
a buddy I used to work with dropped that on me, and I'm like, bullshit. No, he's not. And then I looked it up. I'm like, oh my god, it even said it in the comic books. He's from Shelbyville, Indiana, of all places.
Just okay. I feel like it's right up there with Catherine Janeway from Star Trek Voyager being from Bloomington. Or, no, is it
Right.
Bloomington or is it
I think it's
was it
Bloomington.
Bloomington or Evansville? I don't
It's
know.
oh,
Whichever.
maybe it's Evansville. Hang on.
It's like, and I actually went and visited it because there's actually a statue there of of her as Catherine Janeway, and it's like, oh, that's just too awesome. And funny enough, I found out later on, once again, just deep dive dirt, and we share a birthday.
Bloomington, Indiana. Yep.
Just know as little fun tidbits.
That's
It's like
awesome. Yeah.
well,
And
between
then
that and like, good.
what about being from that small town in Iowa that says the future home of Captain James T. Kirk?
I tried to convince. So my dad went out that way not too long ago for as like as a family gathering, and I tried to convince him to make the detour on the way back for him to go visit because he's been a Star Trek fan for the longest time, and I feel like it's one of those random things on his bucket list of like, well, you're a lot closer in the area now than you are living in Indiana, so why not take the detour? But so I eventually got to convince him to make his way out there just for that, kind of check the box of life
it's
goals type thing.
it's a trek I must make. But going back to this book, so I read this book. Not only is it a fantastic book, it's part one in a series, and part two, I
Hmm.
think she said is coming out next year. I don't remember, but it's gonna be coming out. Not only is this a great book, it has all the ingredients to be the next big blockbuster film series. It's got it all. It's got everything it needs. Like
You give us
it's
like a
there.
rough synopsis or like a rough
Yeah,
just
so the main character, Tori James, falls into a coma mysteriously due to an event called the Unveiling. And what that happens
mhm.
is it merges a magical realm and Earth into one.
Okay,
And she falls into a coma. She wakes up, I think, a year later, a year or 5 years later. I can't remember. It's been a minute. And some people can use magic, some people can't, but it's become a normal part of life. Like the world
sure.
has adapted, magic exists, and Tori, for whatever reason, seems to have a very distinct kind of magic that is super rare. And it's a I don't want to ruin anything because it's definitely worth the read. I can get you guys
Sure.
copies if you want one. It's
Absolutely.
stupendous. It's a great book, and it made me when I finished it, I interviewed Debbie and I told her, I said, well, now I'm mad at you because part two's not out yet and I want to read part two. Like I gotta know what's happening here. Like
You- you-
it's
I feel
got
like
all
that's
the
almost the
ingredients.
big. I feel like that's the biggest compliment I feel like you give to any writer
Oh, I
of
think
like,
she
hey,
was.
when's the
I
next
think she
one?
was blushing. Yeah, I think she was blushing. But I told her, I said, no, I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. Like this needs to be a movie. This would be great. It would be phenomenal.
I mean, just getting people invested like that, as opposed to just say, "Oh, okay, casual read, okay, I got it," and move on with my life. I'm like, no, I need, come on,
I
give me
know I
more, give me
need
more.
it. Like I need it. And then I met another author. I've got to read his book. I met another author at In Conjunction. Super. I love talking to authors, man. They're so much fun to talk to, and you can tell sometimes they're kind of sensitive. It's like you said, they have a bit of a guard up because they're afraid. What if they don't like it? What if they don't?
Sure.
But it's great. It's great stuff. And I have some comic book artists I need to get a hold of that like God. I'm like, wait, you made this? You made this because this is phenomenal.
if nothing else, just getting like the perspective, like, okay, what's the story behind what made you come up with this character or this kind of idea, and just usually just those kind of like it seems like superficial deep dives, but it's like oh, just it's fascinating. If nothing else, it's a story in and of itself to how they arrived at that point to where, okay, it's essentially a book within a book of like, okay, what was the writer's journey, let alone what was the hero's journey of your tale.
Right. Well, it's also fun because this book is set in Indianapolis, so it references places, and I know where these places are. So, boy, can I picture it in my mind.
Uh,
Because like one place she mentions, the two characters have a meeting there, and I'm like, I used to drive by that place every morning on my way to work, so I know exactly what that looks like. It's wild to me. It's always kind of fun, but like I imagine that's the same when you live in the place that's more like people who are into the Divergent series that live in Chicago. That must have been fun
mhm.
for them. It's like, oh yeah, I know where that is.
So I think Matt's seen that one. I don't think I've watched those.
It's a good one. It's a must watch for sure.
It's pretty good.
I own the books too. I haven't read any.
See,
of
I
them.
haven't read the books, but I've heard the books are really really good.
I own them. I just haven't read them.
Oh. Well, but again, it always starts somewhere, right? But
Yeah.
that's
Matt's
my
still trying
opinion.
to.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, say Matt's still trying to find the button on the book that plays it for him. He hasn't found it
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah, I haven't found that one yet. I don't know where I plug my headphones into.
It's a shame it's not like the Page Master.
Oh God! Once again, another entire episode of it. God, that's been a minute.
What are you guys? Are you not a fan of the Page Master?
No, I remember that. I mean, the last time I even remember seeing it discussed. God, because I mean, we're thinking about the same one. It's like an animated Disney movie from like late '90s, wasn't it? It's got
Fox,
the.
but
It
yeah,
was like Cullen McCulkin
yeah, Macaulay
played.
Culkin. Yep,
Okay, yeah. God,
yeah. It's
I
it's a deep cut. It's a deep cut. But I remember watching that movie and being like, "How did this bomb?" Because I thought it was great, but then again, I also like I'm the guy in my group of friends that whenever everybody else loves a movie, I think it's dog shit, and then I love it, and everybody else is like, "That was terrible," and I'm like, "No, you guys just don't get it."
I feel like it might have been one of those where it was probably just overshadowed by other things coming out at the
It was,
time.
yeah, and
Because I think it was in the same like Toy Story and like with the Hercules, like a lot of like that time period, maybe.
I think it was Hercules that it was running up against. I think Toy Story may have been a year before, or a year later. I can't remember.
Like, God, you're really testing,
I
Yeah,
I
no,
think
memory.
Toy Story
I
was
don't
what
remember.
1994.
94 or 95? I can't remember. I
I
think
think
Page
I
Master
think it
was
was 94.
96.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
You just remember what the VHS tape looked like.
And
Yeah.
the DVD that's on my shelf. Oh yeah, I own the Page Master. I'm
No
one of
judgment.
them.
I, I randomly found in a Walmart like $5 bin where I didn't even know they existed. There's like Batman serials from the late 1940s that were some of the most racist freaking Batman creations of all time.
It's so
You bought them. It's so like by modern standards, it's so terrible. But it's like one of those train wrecks. You just kind of, I mean, especially being appreciative of Batman, it's like you just watch it for the sheer. I don't know, just the train wreck of it all, and it's like, okay, and that's a weird spot on my shelf now.
it's so funny you mentioned that specifically because Justin on the Spur of the Moment podcast they were talking about those Batman serials, and he was like, it's like I remember before I watched this, I'd always heard they were super racist, but I never understood why. And he was like, then I watched them, and there was like he put in a clip of like them just casually dropping like slurs for Japanese people, and he was just like, oh, I get it now.
A little bit different than Tim Burton's version. Sorry, guys.
Well, nobody's perfect. I'm one of
Just
the
another
few
layer
people
to the
that,
onion.
I'm one of the few people that find Batman Returns as not a good movie. I know I'm in the minority, but
No,
I would
I'm gonna
agree with you.
no. See, I'm gonna be even. I'm the super minority of these people always make the argument back and forth of Die Hard being a Christmas movie.
okay.
Batman Returns, by definition, is a Christmas movie.
See, funnily enough, I've done 2 episodes where I actually laid out criteria, like hard and fast rules for it being a Christmas movie. What it is, there are 3 criteria, and it's got to meet at least 2 of the 3.
Oh
One,
God,
it has to take place in or around Christmas. Like if it's part of the Christmas season, that's fine.
sure.
Christmas is in the name. And then the other criteria is Christmas, Santa Claus, or Jesus has to have an integral role in the story. Maybe not directly, but conceptually. If it meets two of those three criteria, it can be considered a Christmas movie. These are my rules. These are not hard and fast rules.
I tell you what, you give me between now and the time we talk next, I will bend logic and reason in every which way to try to make that argument. Probably, yeah, it still probably wouldn't hold up in court, but just
Your logic's pretty
challenge accepted.
Your logic's pretty deniable, though.
Well, no, I made the case that Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Oh, okay. Well, that helps then.
Well, because the whole reason he's there is because it's Christmas.
Right.
And it takes place on Christmas Eve.
Then you got everything from the little, ho, ho, ho written on the guy's sweater and
right.
just a little.
But I mean, based on the criteria I laid out, I mean, Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
First Blood is not. First Blood just so happens to take place at Christmas.
What are you talking about? I mean, you got the Christmas colors there. You got plenty of red. You got, some people say, brown might be a Christmas. It's all there.
Oh God, I'm getting flashbacks of Max trying to make that argument, and I'm like, no, but it only meets one of the three criteria. It only takes place at Christmas.
See, next time you bring that up in an episode or a discussion, you need to get like a prop, like stone tablet, and have it written there, and just like, oh no, like look at the commandments of the Christmas movie.
The Christmas
it must
movie
be one
commandments.
Of the
It only adheres to the third commandment.
By the doctrine set forth by the show.
Yeah, the doctrine set forth by the show that matters to no one says that. But no, we had some solid debates on that episode, but because a lot of people consider The Wizard of Oz a Christmas movie, and I'm like, it doesn't meet any of the criteria. It's just a lot of people watch it at Christmas time.
I've never heard that one being a Christmas movie before.
No,
I feel like you'd still want to just hear somebody try to argue it, though. I feel like
no, people do. I've heard someone say because it snowed.
Okay, so then Harry Potter's a Christmas movie, right?
And it's not.
Like Harry Potter's a Christmas movie because I watched it at Christmas time when it first came out.
That's what I'm saying. It's not.
And there's a part where it's Christmas. So
yeah. Actually, Harry Potter's the reason I made the rule that it has to fit two of the three criteria.
So hang on, does Die Hard 2 also count as a Christmas movie? Because does that? I don't think because it happened at Christmas time again. Yeah, it was the sequel. It took place at Christmas. I mean, I think his wife was trying to get to him to celebrate the holiday.
Then I think definitionally, yes.
I think I have to rewatch it, but
well, because I also constructed the rules because somebody was trying to argue with me that Home Alone is not a Christmas movie, and I'm like, no, it absolutely is. The whole inciting incident is because it's Christmas and the family's going away. Like they're going away to celebrate, and Home Alone 2, by the same argument, is also a Christmas movie because they're celebrating Christmas in Florida.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that one's more of a no-brainer, but once again, I'd just be fascinated to hear somebody try to argue the opposite.
Well, no,
it's a good discussion.
Jordan brought up a decent point. He said it could theoretically be any holiday, and I'm like, well, not any holiday, because most people don't travel for, most people don't travel for a holiday, say like Easter. Most people stay home. They might travel to visit family, sure, but it's not really a big traveling holiday. Like maybe Thanksgiving, but again, a lot of people stay home. But a lot of people stay home at Christmas time too. So I get his point, but I'm like, but the distinguishing factor is the movie takes place at Christmas. They're traveling for Christmas, so
ipso facto,
yeah. Santa Claus may not play a pinnacle role in the film, but he is there, or at least the guy that works for him.
Once again, I feel like some of these are just you literally just go as far as a rabbit hole will take you, and it's individual episodes by itself. It's just go in 1,000 different ways.
Yeah, I'm waiting for somebody to try to argue that The Grinch isn't a Christmas movie. It's like, really?
Okay, see that.
How do you make? I'm not sure how that argument even gets formulated.
Well, Christmas is in the name,
yeah.
I feel like that inadvertently, nobody intended it for it to be, but I feel like that one has made its way into the realm of Christmas movies. You think about the old cartoons. You think of Rudolph, Frosty the Snowman, that kind of stuff. But I feel like that one, nobody intended that for it to be such like culturally ingrained into Christmas movies. I feel like but it happened anyways. I feel like that's one of those, at least, my kids, the amount of times that gets replayed around the holidays is just unreal in my house.
Yeah.
Well, that's arguably one of Jim Carrey's best roles. I mean, he just knocked it out of the park. Like I can't watch a Grinch movie without him being in it because it don't hit the same.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of the one where Benedict Cumberbatch was the voice. I mean, it was fine, but I'm comparing it to Jim Carrey, and I'm like, this doesn't.
Yeah, Jim Carrey's the gold standard Grinch.
Yeah, this doesn't hold a candle. Like, no disrespect, a beautiful attempt was made, but it just doesn't. It's a different feel.
Once again, I feel like nobody intended it for it. It was completely by accident that it just happened, and just.
I think Jim Carrey intended it to.
Yeah, I think he was like, "This is gonna pay me forever."
Hate, double hate.
The lady mentioned a check every December.
And once again, infinitely quotable. It shows no intention to be, but
it's a sign of a good movie. How quotable is it?
Most definitely. Loathe entirely. And then, of course, how many times have we done that? I'm an idiot. You're an idiot.
Oh, constantly.
6:30, dinner with me. I can't cancel that again.
Solve world hunger. Tell no one.
And I feel like
somebody kilt. Sicko.
I feel like somebody could come out and tell me that Jim Carrey ad-libbed 3/4 of that entire movie, and I would believe it wholeheartedly. I feel like it just seems like him just being him in the role.
Well, he did ad-lib the bit where when he does the Ron Howard spoof and he puts the hat on.
Yeah,
he actually took that off Ron Howard's head in the scene and put it on. So that's and then I love these fun facts about the Grinch. And did you guys the bit with the tablecloth?
It was like it wasn't supposed to be.
He wasn't supposed to do it. It was supposed to mess it up. So him running back in and messing it up is a complete ad-lib. And I just love the table flip at the end because it's not bad enough that everything's off of it. He has to tip the table too.
Yeah.
That's such good stuff. And then there's another bit. So did you guys get the joke about the key party?
Yeah. So many years later, but
yeah, so many years later. And then when I got that joke, I'm like, oh,
that is horrible. It looks like your boss. It's like watching Shrek 10, 15 years later. It's like there's so many adult jokes throughout. And it's like, okay, they knew what they were doing. The kids enjoyed it. The kids didn't get it, but you did.
I didn't care. I liked Shrek well enough when I was younger, but then as an adult, I think it's one of the smartest. Like it's too good. And infinitely, we quote this on Star Trek all the time when we're talking about Captain Kirk. We often insert the bit where Farquaad's like, some of you may die. But that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Anytime a team of like 5 red shirts go down to a planet, we just put that in there.
The amount of times that GIF or meme, whatever it was used during COVID was unreal. Once again, not to get in the... It's just... You can't make it up.
I mean, funny's funny.
Yeah. And the internet shows no mercy.
Never ever. Speaking of which, I know are you guys Star Trek fans or? I know you're
me more so than him, but neither one of us would be considered diehard.
Okay,
I'd actually challenge you on that, but I'll tell you what, we'll make that our next episode. See who's the bigger Star Trek fan of the two of us, Matt.
No. You've told me you're not a big fan of it, so bullshit argument.
I have never said that. You must have been talking to somebody else. I've never said those words, but
what? No, because we don't ever talk about Star Trek because of that.
I guess we got a new episode now. Okay, that's gonna be the.
Because you don't like Harry Potter either. You're a Harry Potter hater.
I didn't. Okay, that one I don't like as much. I mean, but I'm putting on the. But you're comparing it to like Lord of the Rings and Star Wars and stuff. Sorry, Harry Potter's like not on my top. I'd say it's not on my top 5. Sorry.
That's fair because I am a fan of Harry Potter, but comparatively speaking, it's just
maybe it might have just been like an age thing. Like I mean, because I lived a lot when I was younger, but I guess my top 5 is shifted. It's like back when it was like MySpace or whatever. Oh, your top 5 friends list, and you move them around, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, so and so's mad at you because you bumped them to number 6.
Yep.
Okay, so on a quick side note, what is your top 5 right now?
Oh God, you can't put me on the spot.
Yes, I can.
I mean,
Fake it till you make it.
yeah, but in no, I can't put them in a particular order because it's like different loves. It's like different, whatever you're in the mood for. I mean, you got
Just put them in whatever order.
Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Star Trek. Uh, God, I'll need some time for the other two. There's
While you think, the reason I brought up
yeah.
is I want to share with you. I discovered it is the greatest meta Star Trek joke that any series has ever made ever.
Oh God,
Are you guys familiar? You familiar with the episode "The Trouble with Tribbles"?
I've watched it. I don't know
Vaguely.
I don't
Okay.
remember
It's
the
been a minute.
details.
Okay, but this is important because they make this joke in Deep Space Nine, the crossover
Mhm.
episode "Trials and Tribulations," where the crew of the Defiant accidentally get thrown back in time to the events of The Trouble with Tribbles, and they insert them into the original series. It's a really cool, like visually, it's really cool how they did it because it looks seamless. They even mimicked the lighting style of the original series, so it looks like it's perfect. But there's a bit where the crew of the Defiant meet in the bar where the bar fight scene happens.
Yeah.
And it's when Chekhov, Scotty, and then that other random dude come in and sit down at the table, and Chief O'Brien says, "That's him." Who? Kirk. Because they think the other guy is Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
I always found that moment really weird because I'm like, that's obviously not Captain Kirk. Like, I don't know if they think it's kind of like a funny bit. Here's the thing. It's such a great joke. That guy, the guy they think is Captain Kirk, is William Shatner's stunt double in the original series.
Yeah.
It's like that same joke they made in Spaceballs.
Well, no, but it's funny though because that's specifically William Shatner's stunt double, and when I realized it happened, I was like, that is the funniest.
Did they show his face, or was it just
Yeah.
like his back was turned?
No, they show his whole face, and it's like the only reason I knew that is because we were going through all the episodes, and I made the joke because it's a recurring bit on the Final Frontier where I point out how the stunt doubles look nothing like the people they are stunt doubling for. Like this guy has a receding hairline. He's like much broader than William Shatner, probably about 4 inches taller, but whatever.
Yeah.
Looks nothing like the guy. So I recognized him, and then I realized in that moment, I'm like, oh my God, that's so funny.
It's another one of those jokes that only like a select few people probably got it in the moment, and maybe a
Exactly.
few later on.
And those are my favorite kind of jokes. The best jokes that perform on our podcast is when we're trying to make each other laugh. So that had to have been them just being like, it would be funny if they thought he was Captain Kirk.
And once again, it probably came up randomly in a table reader discussion. Hey, this would be a kind of a random idea or wacky. Like, nah, that'll never work. Well, let's just see what happens. And then poof, it's
Great. So I shout out to the Deep Space Nine writers for the greatest meta Star Trek joke ever made.
See, now I'm gonna have to go rewatch that.
I'm gonna have to do a rewatch.
It's too funny. It is too funny.
That's a funny thing. It's the only reason I ever originally got a Netflix subscription because for some reason I had never seen Voyager before, and I just seen little clips and whatnot, and I was fascinated by the concept. And yeah, I literally bought my first Netflix subscription, literally just so I could watch that show.
Yeah, no, tons of fun. As a huge Trekkie, I'm like, why didn't I realize that before? But it's because I was watching it when I was younger, and now I'm watching, and I have an eye for the details. And it's I'm mesmerized by how I never realized that those are obviously stunt doubles because they're like not behind the back shots. I mean, you can see their full faces, their full body shots.
Yeah.
And they're obviously not those people.
Or and you always see like if the actor's got like long hair, it's a lot easier for them to cover them because you always see their face, the hair go in front of their face or something like that. It's like you go back and watch the Fellowship of the Ring where you got Gandalf and Saruman fighting, and it's like, oh yeah, they're flying through the air, doing this, that, and the other. Oh, their hair is always conveniently covering their faces when they're doing these giant, jumping and hitting, and it's like, once again, you still love it and appreciate it, but it's just kind of funny to actively try to find it.
It is always fun when movies like Spaceballs or something they play with that concept as a joke, like that's obviously not the and I love how in Spaceballs the Princess Vespa stunt doubles a dude.
He's got like a cigar in his mouth or something.
Love it. God, it's so great. Are you guys psyched for the sequel?
Cautiously excited.
Yeah, after History of the World Part 2, I'm not. I'm cautiously optimistic, but
yeah,
because they got Rick Moranis back, so that's an achievement in and of itself.
Yeah, and Bill Pullman and as much as the original cast they could, and so they're trying to do it justice. To which I mean, regardless, you can respect. And God, Mel Brooks still being active at his age and just still.
We were talking about it on Talk 2.0. It's like, hey, Mel Brooks is 100. Just let him cook.
Yeah, just
give him
him what he
money and
wants.
let it cook. Because this might be the last Mel Brooks production. So let's get it out there.
I mean, it looks good for 100. I mean, it was him and Dick Van Dyke that, over 100, and they're still like, as much public facing as they can and still trying to, put on a good face.
Speaking of stunt doubles that look good, that action bit when he does the spinning back kick and Night in the Museum, that was some good stunt double work.
God, that's been a minute too.
Yeah, that's a yeah. But Dick Van Dyke just doing his Dick Van Dyke smile and then just jumps into a spinning back kick is so unintentionally hilarious.
Just fully cemented himself in like I said, the cultural zeitgeist.
Yeah. Which, I mean, Dick Van Dyke's another one who's like, he's got to be a really cool dude.
I mean, just if you were to just talk to him for like 20 minutes, I'm sure it would be like just.
What was the Depression like?
Oh my goodness.
He would know.
Did you babysit JFK? That's horrible.
Oh God, that's great. Well, you guys have been on here for a while now, so I'm sure you guys have things to do too. But I wanted to introduce you guys to the Arete audience, and I look forward to that next episode because, I mean, anybody who talks about Star Trek, I'm down.
Hey, you can't go wrong. There's like a billion different ways you can take it.
You can't. It's nothing but a content-rich, farm.
Oh
yeah,
sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys.
There's a lot of strong opinions on it too.
You know what's funny is it's changing now because I remember a time when a lot of people said that Deep Space Nine was not good, and I was in the minority. But now, Deep Space Nine is like a beloved fan favorite of the vast majority of Trekkies. So it's like I don't know when that happened. I understand why, because Deep Space Nine is clearly the best. But
it's like how the original ones, the following was very small when it was actually running originally, but then fast forward when they're doing reruns, that's really when the audience caught up and really started loving it.
Yeah, it's fascinating. We found out on the show though, because there's a misconception, which not to say William Shatner wasn't popular, but there's a misconception that he was far and away the fan favorite. And no, actually Leonard Nimoy was, and it was a bone of contention between them for many, many years. Leonard Nimoy was a fan favorite since season 1, particularly among female viewers, who it turns out during the show's original run, female viewership was far and away more viewers were female during the original run than male, statistically, at least from the data that they have.
Would have never guessed.
I didn't. Yeah, we didn't know. We were kind of surprised because it does seem like a really boy-centric show. Mm-hmm. But Leonard Nimoy brought so much depth to that character, and he could have phoned it in.
Oh yeah,
but he didn't.
He could have just checked the box and done the work and went home. And but no.
But no, so much of him informs that character. So, and that's why to circle back, people can smell bullshit from a mile away. Mm-hmm. So, if he'd phoned it in, it probably wouldn't have been the franchise that it is today. Might have gone the way of Lost in Space.
Very well, could have.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for coming on. It was always fun. I got to cut us off because I can go all day.
No,
I know you guys have lives.
And there's my dog telling me what time it is.
There you go. Sorry. Yeah, absolutely. Perfect alarm clocks. My dog's more effective than my actual alarm. So
funny how that works.
Well,
appreciate having us on, man. It's been great. I mean, seeing we just keep talking forever, and we'll just definitely have to keep do this again. It's some kind of regularity in the future.
Absolutely, yeah. But everybody, thanks for watching this episode. Go check out The High Ground. Very good stuff. That video they were mentioning is out of the Pacina brothers. It's great. I was there for it. I can vouch for it. It was awesome. So you can watch it. Did you guys keep in the chair?
Yes, we did. And I actually cut that to its own little clip for social media. I haven't it's edited. I'm slowly releasing them all.
No,
I still can't. I still laughed my ass off over that.
But again, testament to how cool they are, because one of them made a joke about it.
Oh yeah, they were definitely good sports about it.
You can tell they're brothers. Definitely, you can tell they're brothers.
Oh, yeah.
But everybody, check out the high ground. Check out Visitor.ai. If you haven't already, like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. And Reid and Matt, thanks again for coming on. Look forward to working with you guys in the future and just getting more people to tune into your awesome show.
Thanks a lot, Jake. Appreciate it.
Thanks.